to a brand new episode of Coming Distractions brought to you by the Nerdpocalypse podcast. I'm your host, Jay. I'm here with my co-host, Micah.
Hey.
All right, guys, we're back. This episode, we're going to talk about Avengers Endgame. We just left, so we're kind of doing on location here, so that's why we're not in the studio. Yeah. So this is the culmination of all of the previous Marvel Cinematic Universe pictures, 21 pictures before this.
Yeah.
This obviously picks up right after Avengers Infinity War, with the heroes trying to undo what Thanos did to the universe. Look, if you are not into the MCU movies, this is not a movie for you.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
This is a movie for fans. This is a movie for everyone who has seen and dissected and loved all 21 movies before.
Right.
This is for you. Look, at this point, I mean, we're 10 years in. Everyone knows who they are.
Right,
Everyone
exactly.
knows their character. You know everyone's character. So everyone knows how to play the role that they are supposed to play. This movie is 3 hours.
Yeah.
Didn't feel like it.
No, I actually, because I don't have a watch on, I actually asked you. I was like, so, like what the time was, just because I'm like, this seems to be kind of breezing through. It didn't feel like a slog at all.
Yeah. Structurally, the story is you got to pay attention to it.
Yes.
But the way that and there's not a lot of action in the beginning, but it is paid off.
super paid off. Yeah.
The last hour of this movie is something that the little kid inside of you or little kids that you bring with you, they're gonna go crazy for. They're gonna go absolutely crazy for.
Yeah.
And this is for all of those people who were, nerds or into comics or stuff like that.
Yeah.
To see all this form and coalesce into something that is 100% satisfying.
Yes.
Is
very much so.
Is on every possible level. Mm-hmm. It's something, man. It's a sight to behold.
Yeah, so just so you're clear, this is not going to be our spoiler review. We'll have our spoiler review out later this week, just because there's so much to talk about in this film, and we want people to go in as fresh as humanly possible, like we did. So what I did find interesting, if you want to do a sort of comparative kind of idea, where Infinity War was very much the Thanos story, with the Avengers kind of dealing with his shenanigans. Yeah. And if you go back and listen to our Infinity War review, that was one of our big positives about that movie, was that it was such a Thanos movie that you really got to understand his motivations and stuff like that. This movie, in contrast, is very much the Avengers and the world dealing with the ramifications of Infinity War. Very much so. Like, it's not like, oh, bad things happen, let's go on. Like, it is a constant weight hanging over everything, that this, like, their plans, their ideas have to work. Yeah. Because everything is so screwed up.
This movie is all about hope.
Yeah, it is. I mean, and there are a lot of characters who are just like, don't give me hope, because like they don't believe in it at this point.
Right.
So, there's a lot of emotional weight in this movie, which I thought was probably easily the most emotional of all of the MCU movies. Like, you really feel for these characters and what they've gone through, whether it's the heroes or ancillary characters. Like Micah said, that last hour is much like the last hour of the first Avengers movie that was just balls to the wall. Like, that's what this is. And it's mind-blowing. It's just mind-blowing.
Act 3 is the last hour. It is its own emotional roller coaster.
It is. It's got everything.
And this movie has with a proper denouement at the end of the movie. It is it's one of the classiest comic book movies I've ever seen. If
It
that
is.
makes any sense.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Things are played for laughs when they need to be. Things are serious, very serious when they need to be.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I loved it, man. I loved it. I can't wait for people to see this, and I can't wait to hear people's opinions on this movie. It's pretty great.
Yeah. I look to say that I was blown away is to put it mildly. You know, some people were wondering, does it stick the landing? Does it stick the landing? Yeah, it super sticks the landing. If we could say nothing else, it absolutely that. How you felt at the end of Infinity War of like, oh my God, what's going to happen next? All that you've gone through to wait for this movie over the last 10 years and everything else, and then for this movie to start. Like, it super nails it all the way through. The story is really interesting. It goes in directions that you don't expect.
Don't show up late, because like Infinity War, that first couple minutes is not to be missed.
Yeah, like yeah, that's a good point actually, because it just starts. Like there is no there is no like
there's no ramping up.
Yeah, like, oh, I wonder what's happening next. No, like, last time on Avengers, like, no, it starts immediately in, which was really dope. It's a blast. It really is. This experiment, as you often put it, in filmmaking, for them to do these 22 connected movies, it worked. Like this, if they did nothing else, like you and I were talking after the movie, like if they did nothing else, this 22 movie run was incredibly satisfying. Like it absolutely nailed it in the end with all the build up, and from the first time you saw Thanos at the end of Avengers, like it all worked right to this moment, and it made sense. I'm looking forward to seeing where the world goes after that. Like I just am, just because of all the stuff that's been what they were capable of doing in these first 22 movies. But again, like they're calling this the Infinity Saga. Yeah, it felt like a saga, and when it's done, and it felt final, like in a good way, right? I want to say so much, but like we can't spoil it.
Even little things, like there are little things in this movie that if you're fans of the MCU, like you're gonna flip your shit, man. Like you're gonna love it, and we don't want to ruin that for you. Yeah. Like Jay said, we'll have a spoiler review later on this week. We're gonna get some folks who are friends of the network to come in, and we're all gonna do an Infinity Saga kind of like retrospective.
Yeah, the whole thing.
So that we all can just nerd out on all this stuff.
Yeah, it's probably going to be pretty long.
It might. But
take breaks between.
But I can't express to you enough how satisfying this movie is. Yeah. It's incredibly satisfying. Like, you think you know what's going to happen.
No, nope.
No, there are parts of this movie that you will not see coming.
No. Yeah, and that was actually really nice. And for folks who are in the know, that whole idea of all the trailers weren't showing anything except for footage from the first 20 to 30 minutes. Yeah.
For the most part, that's 100% accurate.
That's 100% accurate. Like, there's like one or two sort of like minutia kind of things that they show.
like 2-second clips of things that happen later, but no, those trailers.
99% of it was
the first 30 minutes are just the trailers.
Yeah. So all that you think is going to happen, nah, you're not even close, and that's a good thing.
It is.
So, look, go see Avengers Endgame. I wish we could say more. It's dope as hell. It's fun. It's a great ride. It's a great emotional ride. It's a great action ride. They pulled it off. Kevin Feige should get all the credit in the world. The Russo brothers should get all the credit in the world. Joss Whedon should get a lot of credit. All the actors, all the writers throughout all of this, all these folks worked their butts off to give you this product, and they did that shit.
They did it.
They did it. They absolutely did it. So, look, thumbs up to 10 more years, but this Infinity Saga was a hell of a ride. It really was.
Yeah.
All right, that's it for us, and we will see you guys next time, most likely for the spoiler conversation on Avengers Endgame. And we'll see you guys next time.
See ya.
Bye.
You're watching the Nerdpocalypse YouTube channel. Make sure you click that button to subscribe and check out our weekly podcast where we talk about movie, TV, news, tech, and weird stories from around the internet.